All right, what is up, guys? What is up? What is up? Let me get the music going. All right, I want to make sure you guys can. Oh, that's double music. My bad, guys. 1 second. Make sure everything sounds good. Man, so my bad for having this stream all crazy and everything because of the timing. I actually was troubleshooting for the last hour to get everything working, so I appreciate you guys being super accommodating to that. So I wanted to, well, I saw some stuff, right? I saw a video where CNN did like a piece about the Manosphere, and I don't necessarily call myself a passport bro or a part of the MGTOW movement or a part of the Manosphere at all. I'm just a travel YouTuber, right? But there are certain aspects of each of those movements that kind of got hit on during this video for CNN. And mainly, you know, they mentioned a lot of names during the video from the little bit that I did see, and they mentioned Fresh and Fit, they mentioned Andrew Tate, they mentioned a whole bunch of other people like Jake Shields as well, and they literally, well, I want to see what CNN has to say about the Manosphere. Because to be completely honest with you guys and transparent, I actually was kind of introduced to the Manosphere, Red Pill, MGTOW or whatever. I was introduced to this after a breakup that I had 2 years ago, right? Or 2.5 years ago now at this point. But I was just like I was a wreck, bro. Like I was out of shape. I was making okay money, and I didn't have a lot of confidence, right? So after the breakup, I was like searching for something to kind of help me out. I wasn't like doing any like substance abuse or anything. I was just looking for a resource in order to help me become better. And that's when I kind of stumbled upon people like Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit. And Fresh and Fit actually introduced me to Andrew Tate on one of their interviews for with Andrew Tate, and then After Hours, which is where they have a panel of women speak about intersexual dynamics. And this type of like information and this type of podcast kind of like really caught my attention, because I was like, yo, is this how dating really is? Because I had been in that past relationship for almost a decade, right? So I had not been in the dating game for quite some time, and I didn't understand how bad it has gotten to a degree where I'm just like, wow, should I even like date anymore in the US? So this led me to taking the red pill, and now after kind of being in this type of space for some time, I'm like, wait a minute, what's really going on? So I have taken the red pill. I've been red pilled for almost 2 years now, right? So I understand how intersexual dynamics kind of go. So what I wanted to look at and kind of discuss during this kind of reaction towards the CNN piece about the Manosphere, I want to take a look at it from a very objective point of view, like not being red pilled, not knowing about the Matrix, not knowing about the Manosphere, or not knowing about Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, or Jake Shields. So I want to just take a look at it holistically to see if CNN kind of represented the Manosphere well, or if they represented the Manosphere poorly. And we can have an open discussion as well in the live chat, or if you're watching this on the replay, we could have a discussion in the comments below. So if this is your first time tuning into any of my content, let me just do a quick introduction. My name is Jay. The YouTube channel is called Tripping with Jay, and we focus on travel vlogs and live streams. And I have I have a special announcement for you guys. I'm going to actually announce that on Saturday, and it's going to be big, right? So I actually may announce at the end of the stream. It depends on how I feel. So I really wanted to just start out really quickly with people that may not be initiated into what the Manosphere is, or what the Red Pill is, or what the MGTOW movement is. So I wanted to show you guys this here, and it literally, let me get large. It literally describes what the Manosphere is, and this is from Wikipedia. The Manosphere is a varied collection of websites, blogs, and online forums promoting masculinity. Misogyny? I don't think so. Misogyny is the hatred of women, and I don't hate women. In opposition to feminism, okay, I agree with that. Communities within the Manosphere include men's rights activists, incels, that's hilarious. Men going their own way, known as MGTOW, or pickup artists. I don't even think pickup artists should be included in that. And fathers' rights groups. While the specifics of each group's beliefs sometimes conflict, they are generally united in the belief that society is biased against men due to the influence of feminism, and that feminists promote misandry, the hatred of men. Nah, the ladies love us men, dude. They just like, they love the top 10%, the top guys. The rest of the guys are invisible to women. Acceptance of these ideas is described as taking the red pill, a metaphor borrowed from the film The Matrix. So you guys kind of understand a little bit more about what the actual Manosphere is, and we want to really, wow, they really go political. I don't see anything political with the red pill at all. Like, I'm not a political person whatsoever, and I don't have these beliefs at all. But let's jump over to the CNN video here, and luckily for us, the highest quality available that they posted is 480p. So I'm so glad that we are in 2025 and we have the highest quality video available from a multi-million-dollar company known as CNN. So let's go ahead and watch, and we can discuss. So I may pause it here and there just to kind of like run it back or rewind it and kind of like understand what's going on. But I really want to look at this holistically, as if I have no idea what the Manosphere or red pill is. And then we can discuss a little bit in the chats. So let's take a look. 1 second. And make sure you guys are subscribed as well and like the video.
CNN's Donnie O'Sullivan got in the cage with former UFC star turned podcaster Jake Shields to explore the Manosphere and why exactly it's so popular.
They speak liberal, they have liberal friends, and then they go online and they are a white supremacist.
This is Vera Pop.
Oh, wait. Okay. I'm not a white supremacist at all. I'm not even white, bro. How does it start off like that?
Pasova. She spent the last year dating far-right men in New York City for a story for Cosmopolitan magazine.
They're the most insecure men I've ever sat down with.
Oh.
It was really difficult to have some of these dates because they were so insecure, because they don't really know who they are and they don't know how to figure that out.
She said the men she dated got all their news and information from the so-called Manosphere.
They did not listen to anything else. They're only listening to independent media, and they're only listening to men talking to men.
Independent media, honestly, bro, independent media is kind of where it's at now. Like, that's how we're getting our news nowadays. We're looking at, Twitter or X. We're looking at freaking Instagram, Facebook, and this is how people get their news. Like YouTube, people are not watching mainstream media anymore. People are not watching CNN, Fox News, and not watching all of that. All their viewership is tanking right now, which is crazy. And she's like, oh, they're watching only independent media. But a lot of the times, independent media will be the ones to tell you the truth.
Manosphere is made up of macho podcasters and influencers.
There's no such thing as an independent female.
Most women have zero concept of white money.
Females don't have independent thought.
It's a space where
Bro, took out like the craziest sound bites out of context. That's hilarious.
Where UFC fighters are among those who reign supreme.
They love the UFC guys. They love the MMA guys because those guys do what they can. They're modern gladiators. They're badass.
Badass like Jake Shields, a former UFC star turned podcaster.
All right. Now I'm starting to feel nervous. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, of course.
Who I met at an MMA gym in Las Vegas.
Like all great MMA pros.
Bro, oh, I'm losing it now, man. He's taking an inhaler. Okay.
I've never hit anyone in my life.
I'm not punching back. Hit me. I sit right here. Okay.
This is CNN. You miss being full-time pro, like in terms
Oh, yeah,
of...
you know, of course I miss it. To go from professional athlete, which is the highest of highs, to retirement.
And I
You have
guess
to
the
find-
po-
yeah,
the
the
podcast-
podcast has helped. You could fall into depression if you just go from the most amazing career where you're famous and spotlights to all of a sudden you're a nobody.
Sure.
Like other podcasters in the Manosphere, Jake regularly hosts controversial guests.
And I named the podcast Fighting Back. I feel like we have to fight back for what we're told we're allowed to do. I just don't like to be told you're not allowed to talk to this person. Like, why can't I talk to him? I'm not saying I agree with his ideology, but I should hear what he has to say.
He's hosted the former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan.
Today I have a very, very special guest, Dr. David Duke. I knew you're controversial, but I had no idea how controversial.
And Thomas Russo, the leader of the white supremacist group Patriot Front.
Let's go where we disagree a little bit.
Yes,
Wow. Let's hit race, because you're a white-only group?
So the organization only allows people of American ethnicity, and all Americans, I believe, come from Europe, so they're white.
What? Bruh. Oh my gosh, that's so loud. My bad, guys. That's crazy to even like say something like that.
Yeah, no, I understand and talk to these guys, but I've also not thought anyone hateful. If I do, I'm going to be really on top of them.
But so you saying that you haven't brought someone hateful on, right? People say, well, you brought on the Grand Wizard of the KKK, you brought on Patriot Front.
Yeah.
They're hateful.
No, I think those are excellent questions, but if people go and watch the actual interviews, I think they would be like, oh, this guy's not near as hateful as if I expect it.
But Vera says hate isn't what the men she dated were really looking for.
One of these guys brought me to a political meeting.
And did they talk about politics?
Barely. They talked about, it was a bunch of men complaining about girlfriends and wives, regurgitating Andrew Tate type of advice about how to train your girlfriend, how to train your wife to be submissive. And so this group was supposed to be a political group, but they're talking about relationship problems. And the fact that that's what most of the time was spent on, you don't need to be a neo-Nazi. You need therapy.
The appeal of
That's an interesting point. I mean, to be honest with you, I would argue that like being in a relationship in relationships in general might be more important than politics sometimes, and for men to actually get together and discuss relationships and discuss what they're going through. I think to a degree that might be like a pseudo form of therapy for us, right? And we have to understand that we as men, like, we would love to have a submissive woman and make her our girlfriend and eventually our wife and elevate her to that point. I don't agree with like training a woman. I don't agree with that at all. I just believe that if you meet someone and they're already submissive, take that for face value. I don't agree with, training a woman to become submissive. That honestly, to me, in my honest opinion, that just comes as is, right? So you have to take someone at face value. If they're not submissive when you meet them, you don't even have the right to train them to be submissive. That's just not who they are. That's not their nature. And I think that if a woman is submissive and that is just her nature, then you should roll with that and go with that. I don't agree with her saying, or at least that particular group or meeting that she went to, with them speaking about training a woman. That's kind of, nah, I don't agree with that at all.
Jake's podcast speaks to a need among young men in this country that Vera says can't be ignored.
You have to incentivize someone to want to be better. You can't just say, let's make men better. The thing about these guys is they're big.
I'm sorry, I keep pausing it, but saying they want to make men better, they don't just say that. They actually give us men instructions on how to improve ourselves. So when I watch Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, I don't only watch the after hours portion of the podcast that they have. I watch the daytime shows that they have on Fresh and Fit. So I watch the Money Mondays. I watch the shows where they have call-in shows where people actually call in and ask about advice on real estate, on how to make money, and they literally go step by step, Fresh and Fit, on how to improve yourself as a man, right? Going to the gym, eating right, getting in shape, making more money. And that's how you improve yourself as a man. And just saying they make men better, they actually show you how to do it step by step. And they lead by example. They literally walk the talk. And I don't know if what she's saying is genuine at all, but taking it as it is, I think that she just may have met the wrong guy, and it's kind of crazy that she met a guy and went to this meeting with him, which is kind of crazy, right? I would never take a girl to a meeting with all guys, right? It just something doesn't sound right. To me, it sounds like it's made up just for this story for CNN, and they're trying their hardest to make everyone in the manosphere look bad, and I think it's making CNN kind of look bad from a journalistic aspect, right? Because I'm living proof that Fresh and Fit, Andrew Tate, taking all of the attributes that are positive about the manosphere as far as self-improvement and improving as a man, I am proof of that. I'm in the best shape of my life at 36 years old. I've made the most money I've ever made before in my entire life. And it's all due to listening to Andrew Tate and Fresh and Fit and putting actions to words. So I may not agree with her at all, to be honest with you.
Biggest support system is online, but that also is very isolating, and isolation is what breeds hatred.
Groups like Patriot Front offer community, but community based on racism and hate.
People have to really think about, do you have the capacity to talk to people that you don't agree with? Because that one nice conversation you might have might change someone's day enough to not have to seek out help in an online support group, which is actually a bunch of white supremacists using political beliefs as an excuse for how they feel.
Donnie O'Sullivan is here with us now. Donnie, I'm so glad you've done this special. There's so much intrigue around this issue of the manosphere. And in fact, Trump is going to the UFC tonight. How big of a role does the sport play in the manosphere?
Hey, Isabel. Yeah, and look, we should point out at the start here, there's tons of guys who are fans, and some women as well, who are fans of the UFC. I have many friends who are fans of the UFC.
You see her raise her hand.
It does not mean, that if you are a fan of the UFC, you are falling sort of down this rabbit hole of hate and white supremacy and everything else. But what we are seeing is that there is this sort of, there is this crossover. The UFC is playing a greater and bigger role, really, in American life. Joe Rogan, who's the world's biggest podcaster, is a UFC commentator. Dana White, who is the founder of the UFC, is a prominent Trump supporter and was recently appointed to the board of Meta by Mark Zuckerberg himself, another big MMA and UFC fan. And actually fighting tonight in Miami, Trump is going to the event. We're not sure if he'll be there for the earlier fights, but fighting tonight in Miami at the UFC event is a fighter by the name of Bryce Mitchell, who recently set up a podcast of his own. And on his debut episode a few months ago, he said that Hitler was a quote-unquote good guy or a great guy.
Whoa! Hey, yo, that's crazy.
Dana White, the head of the UFC, was quick to condemn that, but you can just kind of see there where folks who might be coming into this sport for one reason are a fan of fighting, and then they're getting exposed to views like Bryce Mitchell's.
All right, man. That was very, very interesting. Very, very interesting, man. So we got a comment from Bagels. Bagel says Andrew Tate has helped me so much personally. Yes, sir. And honestly, I agree with you. Bagels, Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, they've helped a lot of men improve themselves, make more money, get in shape. And watching that CNN video, I just fail to understand where they are connecting the manosphere with white supremacy and hatred, because literally the people that Fresh and Fit have helped or Andrew Tate have helped are from every race and creed you can even imagine. They talk to these people live on air sometimes, and they may be Indian, Hispanic, black, white. They're everything. So I don't understand the draw to, or the lines or connections to hatred and racism. I don't get it. And I'm looking at this just like me not trying to understand what the manosphere is, because I can guarantee you with the knowledge that I do have about the manosphere, they are not about hate at all. We just want to get better as men. And if someone like Jake Shields has a podcast, they are well within their right to have guests on whoever they want, right? They're free to platform whoever they want. It's literally their platform. They built it themselves. Okay, so that's why Fresh and Fit have people on like Nick Fuentes. Myron will have someone on his podcast who he vehemently disagrees with, but that doesn't mean that this other person that you may disagree with shouldn't have a right to speak. So I'm very critical of the CNN story covering the manosphere, because I have been improved exponentially by the manosphere, and the Red Pill and Fresh and Fit, Andrew Tate, or what have you, all of these figures in the YouTube space or in the social media space. These people are successful because they put in the work. They literally built themselves up from nothing. And we see it on a daily basis, how important these people are on helping other people reach the same level of success that they're at. And that's the only way that we're going to really improve ourselves as men and kind of bring back masculine men, is to, go to the gym, work out, get in better shape, eat better, make more money, and just become that leader, that masculine leader that the world, or at least what the Western world, seems to be missing nowadays. And this does play into like the travel space and passport bros and the MGTOW movement, because women nowadays, they're at least here in the US, I can speak for, a lot of them are quite masculine, man, and that is a turnoff to someone like myself. I would rather have a much more feminine woman, where I'll be the one to be the leader. I will pay all the bills. You just relax. You just kind of relax as a woman. And to me, it's just really crazy, bro. It's really crazy that how big these movements have become, like the passport bro movement, and that is just in response to feminism and women that are more masculine than they have been before. So I totally understand why the passport bro movement exists, why the MGTOW movement exists, and it's just a response to feminism, right? And I can go into excruciating detail about the reasons why, but I want to keep it light. This is a travel YouTube channel. It's not a political channel or anything else like that. But I want you guys to understand that when you see hit pieces like that from big TV networks like CNN, please take it with a grain of salt, because that young lady or older lady could not be telling the truth, right? It can just literally be a media hit piece, just like that movie on Netflix. I forgot what it was called, but it was about this kid from London that chefed up some girl in London and went to jail for it and mentioned Andrew Tate by name, even though Andrew Tate doesn't preach anything about violence at all. Right? They actually preach anti-violence, which is crazy to me. So the media is out for the Manosphere, for real. And this is not the first time this year that the Manosphere has been under attack. So guys, really take this stuff with a grain of salt. Watch independent media. Don't consume the same news from the same people. See if you're able to kind of aggregate your news sources. Go to other independent, verified media sources to get your news, because I can guarantee you that if you are a consumer of the mainstream media, a lot of it is a lie. So let's see. We got one more comment from Bagels. I'm now exploiting six. Bruh. What is this, bro? All right, guys. That's gonna be it for today. I do have a special announcement for the people that made it to the end, and I want to show you guys what I have coming up for Sunday. So it is, let me see if I can pull it up here. And guys, if you didn't know, now you know. I'm about to turn it over right now. So guess what? We're starting a podcast on the channel. And episode 1 will be live this Sunday at 10 a.m. West Coast time, and we are interviewing a special guest. His name is Coop, and he actually moved from Detroit to Los Angeles, and then from Los Angeles to Colombia, the country. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff during this podcast, man. We might get a little personal, may have to throw some jokes in there, but we are starting the podcast here. And shout out to my man Coop for being on the channel, man, for episode 1. So I hope you guys will look forward to that. Make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell notification, because Sunday is going to be lit. And this is just the first guest. I have a lot of them lined up. A lot of YouTubers or content creators you guys may actually recognize. And it's just going to be a surprise moving forward. And I'll let you guys know. If you guys stay to the end of every live stream, there might be a surprise here and there. But that's going to be it, guys. Stay tuned. I'll see you guys Saturday, because we do live streams every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And the podcast may be on Sundays, guys. You guys may see me 4 or 5 times a week, plus travel vlogs as well. I'm still working on my my next vlog, so I appreciate you guys being so patient with me. So shout out to Coop for being the first guest on the channel. If you are interested in being featured on the podcast, let me know. Shoot me a DM on Instagram that you guys can see down here. Hit my finger right. Pause. Right there. Hit me up on Instagram in the DMs if you want to be featured on the podcast and you're a content creator. And that's going to be it, guys. My name is Jay. You've been tripping with Jay. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm not a political person at all, but when they attack the Manosphere, I kind of feel like it's personal, because it's made me a better person overall, and it's going to make me a better future husband for my future wife, and I promise you that. With that said, guys, I appreciate you again. My name is Jay. You've been tripping with Jay, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you on Saturday. Peace.